The girl beneath the rain never stopped on the outer colony world of Vera 7. Soft, blue droplets fell from the sky like falling stars. The ground shimmered, wet and glowing under the twin moons. Michael Hale sat alone in his cabin at the edge of the forest, drinking hot tea, watching the storm. He had lived here for 3 years. No friends, no neighbors, just peace and quiet after a long war. A war that took everything from him, his wife, his home, his purpose. But that night, someone knocked. 3 soft knocks. Michael froze. No one ever came this far into the woods. He stood up slowly, grabbed the old pulse rifle from the wall, and stepped to the door. He opened it. Hand froze again. A small alien girl stood in the rain. Her skin was pale silver with faint purple marks, her eyes big and glassy like moons. She was soaked, shivering, her little hands clutching something close to her chest. "You're human," she whispered. Michael lowered his weapon. "Yeah, and you're Viari." She nodded. Then she said something that made Michael forget the cold. "Please help. My mom is broken. She doesn't eat. She doesn't speak. She doesn't smile. I don't know how to fix her." "You fix machines, right? Maybe you can fix her too." Michael looked at her in silence. The rain dripped from his coat. The girl's lips trembled, not from cold but fear. He stepped aside. "Come in." She walked in carefully, leaving small wet footprints on the wooden floor. He gave her a towel and warm clothes. She looked at them, confused. "They're too big," she said. Michael smiled gently. "Then you'll grow into them." She sat by the fire. The flames reflected in her silver eyes. She pulled out a small object from her coat, a broken picture frame. Inside was an image of her, a smiling male Viari, and a tall woman with gentle eyes. The glass was cracked. "That's my dad. He died in the mine. There was an explosion. They say it was human fault. My mom never smiled again after that." Michael looked at the photo. Something in it pulled at his heart. "What's your name?" he asked Lyra. She replied, "What's yours, Michael?" They sat in silence for a while. Then Lyra asked, "Why are you alone?" Michael's eyes looked into the fire. "Because the people I loved are gone, and because I didn't think anyone needed me anymore." Lyra stood up. She walked to him slowly and held out the picture. Maybe we need you." Michael reached out and took the frame. He wiped it clean. The crack was deep, but the faces inside still shined. "Can I take you back home?" he asked. "Will you try to help my mom?" "I'll try." The next morning, they walked through the forest together. Mist rose from the wet ground. Glowing insects buzzed softly. The path twisted like an old story, hidden and wild. "My village doesn't like humans," Lyra warned. "They think you only bring death." Michael didn't answer. He just walked beside her. When they reached the village gates, silence fell. Dozens of Viari watched from behind windows and doors. One old guard stepped forward. "What is this?" he hissed. "You bring a human here?" "He's here to help my mom," Lyra said boldly. "Your mother should know better," the guard muttered. "Humans are not welcome." Michael said nothing. He didn't argue, didn't fight. He just followed Lyra. They walked to a small home at the edge of the village. The door creaked open. Inside, it was dark and quiet. The air smelled of dust and old sadness. On a thin bed, a woman lay still. Her skin was pale like the moon, her eyes closed, her body weak. "Mom," Lyra whispered. "I brought someone." The woman didn't move. Michael stepped forward. He placed the fixed photo beside the bed. Then, without a word, he went to the kitchen and started cooking. The smell of human soup, simple vegetables, and spices. The air was warm and real. Sora opened her eyes. "Why is there a human in my house?" Her voice was thin like paper. "I asked him," Lyra said. "He fixes broken things." Michael placed a bowl near her and sat on the floor. "I'm not here to fix you," he said. "Just here to sit with you." if that's okay. Sora didn't reply. She looked at the photo, then at her daughter, then at Michael. The rain tapped on the windows softly. Outside the village, watched. Inside, a silent heart began to beat, against a little. The house without laughter. Next morning, the house felt different. Not better, not worse, just quiet, like the silence was waiting to be broken. Michael sat near the window, holding a cup of steaming root tea. Outside, the Vayari village was waking up. Soft lights glowed in the round stone houses. Alien children laughed in the distance. But every time someone walked past the house, they stared long and cold. He heard footsteps. Lyra walked in, rubbing her eyes. She had slept in his old coat on the couch. Is she awake? Michael asked. Lyra nodded. She looked at the picture. Then she cried. That's the first time she's cried in many weeks. Michael stood up. Tears are better than silence. They went to Sora's room. She was sitting up now, her back against the wall, the photo in her hands. She didn't look at Michael, but her voice was stronger. Why are you still here? Michael didn't lie. Because Lyra asked me to stay. Because you need someone. And because I owe this world more than it owes me. Sora turned to Lyra. This is your doing. I don't want you to fade away, Mom, she said, voice shaking. You stopped living. You don't even say my name anymore. But when he came, something changed. Even your silence was different. Sora closed her eyes. I'm tired of hurting, she whispered. Later that day, Michael left the house to gather food and medicine from the forest. He walked along the stream path, boots sinking into the soft, glowing mud. He carried a scanner and an old pistol just in case. But someone was following him. He knew the sound. Vayari hunters moved silently, but not silently enough for a human trained in war. Michael didn't stop walking. You gonna shoot me? He said calmly. 3 Vayari stepped from behind the trees, spears in hand, armor painted with blue war paint. You don't belong here, human, the leader said. You bring your sickness, your war, your lies. I bring a fire, Michael replied, and a broken spoon. They stared at him, confused. He dropped his bag and opened it. Inside, medicine herbs, root bulbs, and a broken wooden spoon with carvings. I'm not here to take anything, he said. I'm just trying to give something back. The leader walked forward slowly. He looked into Michael's eyes. The last human who said that killed 20 of us in the mine. Michael didn't blink. Then let me fix what he broke. The Vayari didn't attack, but they didn't welcome him either. They just stepped back and disappeared into the trees. Back at the house, Michael found Lyra crying near the door. What's wrong? He asked quickly. They called Mom to the council, she said. They think letting a human in the village is a betrayal. They said she must answer before the elders. Michael clenched his fists. When? Right now. Michael rushed to the village center. Dozens of Vayari stood in a half-circle around a raised stone platform. 5 elders sat above, dressed in silver robes. Sora stood alone in the middle, her hands folded, face pale. Why did you let the human inside your home? One elder asked coldly. Because he saved my daughter, Sora said. Because she trusts him. Trust is not enough, another elder said. The memory of war is not gone. My husband died too, Sora said. Her voice cracked, but she didn't stop. He believed peace was possible. You called him a traitor, but he was right. Michael stepped forward from the crowd. Gasps rose. I didn't come to speak, he said loudly, but I will. The guards moved to stop him. Sora raised her hand. Let him. Michael looked at the crowd. I'm not here to make peace. I'm here because a little girl knocked on my door during a storm and asked me to help fix her mother. Not because I'm human. Not because of politics. Because I was the only one who listened. The elder in the middle leaned forward. And you believe you can help? I don't know, Michael said. But I'm going to try. Because she's not just Vayari. She's a mother. A woman in pain. That's something deeper than species. The crowd was silent. Then Lyra walked onto the platform. She took her mother's hand, then Michael's. "He's not my father," she said, "but he brought back something we lost, hope." For a moment, the elders said nothing. Then one old woman among them, her skin wrinkled and eyes wise, spoke. "Gently, let us see what the storm brings. Sometimes, even broken branches can bloom." Michael, Sora, and Lyra walked back to their house under a sky of purple clouds. Rain still drizzled, soft as breath. Inside, Sora sat by the fire for the first time. She didn't smile. Not yet. But her voice held warmth when she spoke. "I don't know what this..." Stories around the fire night had fallen again. Outside the house, the Vyari village was quiet, but not peaceful. Word had spread. Some feared the human. Others whispered about the fire that returned to Sora's eyes. A few even wondered if the old stories were wrong. Maybe not all humans were monsters. Inside, the fire crackled gently. Michael sat on one side of the hearth, Sora on the other. Lyra was between them, head resting in her mother's lap, fingers drawing shapes in the dusty floor. No one spoke for a while. Then Sora looked up. "Why did you come to this planet?" she asked softly. Michael stared into the flames. "To disappear." "From what?" he sighed. "From memories. From my own face in the mirror." Sora tilted her head. "You fought in the war." "I did. I was a systems engineer on the Helix front. When things went bad, I became a demolitions specialist. When that wasn't enough, I became something worse." Lyra looked up. "Worse. A man who stopped caring if people lived or died. Even good people." The fire crackled louder. Michael reached into his coat and pulled out an old metallic ring. It was dented, worn. A human wedding band. "My wife was on a peace mission. Civilian shuttle. It got shot down. Nobody claimed responsibility. Both sides said it was the other." Sora looked at him carefully. "I'm sorry." "Me too," Michael said. "I stopped believing in peace after that. Started working for people who just wanted tough council's warnings." Village of the Vyari was no longer quiet. In the early morning, loud voices echoed through the narrow stone streets. Something had changed overnight. Something dangerous. Watchers at the gate reported signs of off-world movements. Someone had landed near the western cliffs. And it wasn't Michael. Michael stood outside Sora's home, staring at a small drone found just beyond the trees. It wasn't Vyari. It was human-made. Old military tech. Cloaked. Illegal. He turned it over, then handed it to Sora. "Someone else is here," he said. "Someone from my side. Someone who shouldn't be." Sora's eyes narrowed. "You think they're here for you? Maybe, or maybe for something worse." Before they could speak more, a shadow passed over the house. The council messenger stood at the edge of the garden, tall and armored. "The elders summon you both," he said. "And the child too." "Why the child?" Sora asked, stepping forward. "Because someone must answer for what's been awakened." Beneath the mountain, in the great council chamber, the air was thick with tension. Guards stood at every corner. Villagers whispered behind sleeves. Even the elder woman who once spoke kindly now looked different, colder, sharper. A glowing map hovered in the air, showing old tunnels and caverns under the village. The mining facility where Ellen, Sora's husband, had died. The elder leader pointed to it. "Last night, a signal came from inside this ruin," she said. "A signal meant only to be sent by authorized command, or someone who wants to access the vault." Michael frowned. "What vault?" The elder replied. "The reactor core. When it failed, it sealed a deep storage unit containing unstable energy. Even we don't know what's truly inside. And now, someone is trying to open it." Gasps rippled through the chamber. A younger elder shouted, "This is what humans do. They come smiling with gifts, but behind them always weapons." Michael stepped forward. Then why would I be here fixing heaters, playing father, instead of blowing things up? Silence. Michael continued. If you really think I'm the one behind this, then lock me up. But you and I both know this is someone else. How do you know? The elder asked sharply. Because I found this. He tossed the drone onto the council floor. Not mine, not Vayari. This drone came from Earth Command Black Unit. They don't follow orders. They follow secrets. The council murmured. Sora's face went pale. Michael looked at her, then at Lyra. This is bigger than me now. That night, the village went on high alert. Fires were lit. Scouts were posted at the cliffs. The forest crackled with tension. Even the animals had gone silent. Inside the house, Lyra paced near the door. You said you were the only human here, she said. I thought I was, Michael replied. But Earth doesn't always ask. Sometimes it just sends people. People like I used to be. Sora sat by the fire, silent. What do they want? She asked quietly. Michael took a breath. Maybe the energy in that vault. Maybe something worse. Maybe they're here to clean up loose ends, including me. So what do we do? Lyra asked. Michael stood. We find them first. Before dawn, Michael snuck out of the village. The cliffs were far, but his old military instincts still lived inside him. He moved through the trees like a shadow. Every sound mattered. Every footprint counted. By mid-morning, he found it. A small, dark ship, half buried under foliage. Cloaked, hidden. He approached, slow and quiet. A figure stood nearby, back turned, human, armed. Michael raised his voice, low and steady. You're trespassing on a protected world. The figure spun gun drawn, then paused. Michael Hale, the man said. His voice was rough, familiar. I thought you were dead. Not yet, Michael replied. What are you doing here? Orders. Command wants the core under the mountain. They say the Vayari Danth Festival of Falling Stars night of. The Festival of Falling Stars came with soft drums and distant light. Every year, the Vayari lit sky lanterns to remember those they lost in the war. Glowing blue orbs floated high into the sky, rising like silent wishes. But this year, something was different. This year, a human walked among them. Michael wore a long brown cloak to blend in. Lyra held his hand proudly, walking beside him like he belonged. Sora followed, quiet, unsure. The villagers still stared, but this time, not all eyes were angry. Some were curious. Some even nodded. Michael kept scanning the shadows. He hadn't told Sora, but he had seen movement near the forest. Again fast, unnatural. The same kind of blur he remembered from covert strike teams during his old missions. Someone was watching. Someone trained. And they weren't Vayari. The crowd gathered near the central fire pit. Children danced. Elders sang. The stars began. 2 fall dozens of tiny comets streaked across the dark sky, like silver tears from the heavens. Michael almost smiled. Then he saw him, a man tall, armored, with a black visor covering his face, standing alone near the cliff. Human, definitely human, but not a colonist, not a worker. This one moved like a ghost from the war, precise. Sharp. Michael pushed through the crowd, keeping low. He reached the edge of the crowd, but the stranger was gone, vanished. Damn, Michael muttered. He turned back toward Sora and Lyra just in time to see the tree. A crack echoed through the valley. A massive old tree, weakened by wind and age, snapped at the base and began to fall straight toward the crowd. People screamed. Villagers ran in every direction. The fire pit was too crowded, too tight. Children were trapped near the edge, and Lyra was right beneath it. Michael ran no thought, no pause, just motion. He reached her in seconds, grabbed her in his arms, and threw both of them to the side just as the tree came crashing down. The impact shook the ground. Dust flew everywhere. Michael rolled onto his back, groaning. His arm was bleeding. His shoulder was dislocated. But Lyra was safe, shaken, crying, but safe. Sora reached them moments later, dropping to her knees. You saved her, she whispered. Michael coughed, then smiled weakly. Of course I did. An hour later, the entire village stood in silence. The elders held a private meeting around the fallen tree, and for the first time in years, they invited a human to speak. Michael sat on a stone bench, arm wrapped tightly, bruised but standing, the eldest among them. The same woman who once doubted him, raised her voice for all to hear. He did not run. He did not hide. He threw his own body to protect one of ours. The crowd murmured. This man, she continued, did not come to destroy. He came to heal. A younger Vyari warrior stepped forward. Then why is there another human hiding in the forest? Michael stiffened. You saw him too. Yes. I saw the one with the visor. He vanished after the tree fell. It wasn't an accident, Michael said. The tree was cut halfway through. It was meant to fall, meant to cause chaos. Gasps filled the air. Someone wants to start a fight, he said. Someone wants you to hate me again. And if we don't act now, more will come. That night, Michael sat outside the house, shoulder wrapped, hand on his blaster. Sora sat beside him. You almost died, she said. I've almost died before. But this time, it would have left her alone, Sora said, looking at the window where Lyra slept. Michael turned to her. I didn't even think. My body just moved. Because you love her, Sora whispered. Michael didn't answer, but he didn't have to. Sora leaned her head on his good shoulder. He didn't move away. Do you still want to leave after all this? She asked. Michael looked at the stars. Before, I had nothing. Now, I have a reason to stay. Sora smiled faintly, her first real smile in years. The stars continued to fall above them, silent, burning, beautiful, and for once, the house behind them was filled with warmth, breath, and hope. But far beyond the village walls, in the shadows of the cliffs, the other human watched through his scope, whispering, into a calm. Subject is bonded. Emotional vulnerability confirmed. Phase 2 ready. The smile she waited forth next morning came with silence. No laughter from the neighbors. No wind through the trees, just stillness. Inside the small home, Michael stood at the sink, making tea with one good arm. His injured shoulder still ached from the festival, but he didn't complain. Not once. Not in front of Lyra or Sora. Behind him, Sora watched carefully. Her eyes held something different now. Not fear, not grief, but something softer. Something that had been buried for too long. Lyra bounced into the room holding an old box. I found something, she said, placing it on the table. My dad used to sing this song. It always made Mom smile. Sora froze. Lyra no. Just listen, Lyra said. Please. She tapped the small music cube. A crackling sound filled the room. Then a soft, deep male voice began to sing, gentle, peaceful, a lullaby in the old Vyari tongue. Sora turned away, covering her mouth. Michael stepped forward. Was this your husband? She nodded. Michael sat beside her slowly. Can you translate it? Sora swallowed hard, then whispered, it says, even when the stars fall, I will be with you. When the dark comes, I'll light the way. When your heart breaks, I'll hold the pieces. Michael stared at the cube. That's beautiful. He wrote it. The day Lyra was born, she said, voice breaking. He said the smile of a child could heal any wound. Sora's voice dropped to a whisper. But when he died, I stopped believing that. Lyra climbed into her mother's arms and hugged her tightly. I believe it, she said. Michael stood up. So do I. He walked outside, stepping into the cold morning, but he wasn't alone. A pulse dart slammed into the wall beside him. Michael dropped instantly, rolling behind cover, pulling out his blaster with his working hand. A voice echoed from the trees. Michael Hale, the stranger said. You've been warned. You're not part of the mission anymore. I was never part of this mission, Michael shouted back. Who sent you? A pause. Then the answer came. Command didn't. Sovereign Shadow did. Michael froze. That name. It wasn't official Earth military. It was rogue off-grid, the kind of group that turned wars into profits, the kind that didn't care who lived, only who paid. Michael fired twice into the trees. A grunt, movement, then silence. He ran back inside and locked the door. They're not leaving, he said. This isn't over. The council called. Another emergency meeting. The village was on edge. Parents kept children indoors. Lights were dimmed. Fear returned. Michael stood before the elders, explaining everything. Sovereign Shadow is here for the vault under the mountain, he said. They don't care about you. They want what's inside, and they'll kill anyone in the way. And how do we stop them? One elder asked. Michael pointed to himself. You don't? I do. Sora stepped forward. Not alone. I won't let you fight, he said. Then what do we do? She asked. Hide forever. Michael turned to the elders. I need access to the old tunnels, the ones beneath your home, the ones sealed after the collapse. The room went still. Those tunnels are cursed, one elder said. They hold the death of our people. Then let's make them hold our defense instead, Michael replied. That night, Michael sat alone beneath the stars, rewiring an old pulse trap. Sora came and sat beside him, carrying a blanket and hot drink. You're really going down there? She asked. Tomorrow. Why? Because I want you to live, Michael said. You and Lyra, and this village, even if I don't make it back. Sora's eyes filled with tears. You can't say that. I have to be honest. Then be honest about this, she said. Why do you keep protecting us? He looked at her, slowly. Because when Lyra asked me to help, I didn't see an alien. I saw a child with hope. And when I saw you, I didn't see a widow. I saw someone worth staying alive for. Sora covered her mouth. You don't have to say it, he whispered. But I need you to know it. Sora reached out, gently touched his hand, and for the first time in years, she smiled, real wide, unbroken. Thank you, she said, for giving that smile back. A new kind of family-lith. Wind howled through the valley as Michael stepped into the old tunnel behind him. Lyra held Sora's hand, eyes full of fear. Villagers watched from a distance. Guards were posted across every hilltop. Everyone knew this was the final step. If he failed, Sovereign Shadow would take everything. If he succeeded, maybe they had a future. Sora touched his arm one last time. Come back to us, she whispered. I will, he said. I promise. He didn't know if it was a lie. Deep beneath the earth, the tunnels twisted like broken veins, old mining paths, now dark and cold. Michael moved silently, blaster ready, heartbeat steady. The glow from his wrist lamp cast long shadows against the stone. He passed the old memorial wall, names of the fallen etched in silver stone. One name caught his eye. Ellen 30, Sora's husband. He paused, placed his hand on the name. I won't let her lose everything again, he whispered, closer to the vault chamber. Motion sensors flashed red dot. They were already here. Voices ahead. 2 men, armored, carrying scanners. One held a portable bomb. The other adjusted the old control pad on the vault door. Michael crept behind the shadows and waited. Command says, open it. Take what we need. Leave no witnesses, one said. Easy enough, the other replied. These Vayari won't even know what hit them. Michael didn't wait. He fired. The first man dropped instantly. The second turned, but Michael was faster, diving behind an old crate, firing again. Knocking the man's weapon aside, they fought hand to hand, brutal, loud, echoing. Michael, single quotes, S arms screamed in pain. But he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. At last, the second man fell unconscious. Michael limped toward the vault and disabled the bomb. Then, with shaking fingers, he deactivated the control pad. The vault door slid open slowly, but he didn't step inside. Instead, he sealed the codes. Forever. Whatever's in here, he said, it stays buried. He returned at sunrise. Bloody, bruised, but alive. Lyra ran first. Michael, he dropped to one knee and caught her in his arms. Sora rushed to his side, tears streaming down her face. You came back, she said. He smiled through swollen lips. I said I would. The council gathered. Michael stood before them. The vault is sealed, he said. No one will get inside. Not them, not me. The elder woman stepped forward. You risked your life for us, she said. You fought your own people. You protected our home. Michael nodded. Because this is my home now. The village stood in silence. Then one voice spoke. He belongs here. Then another. He is family. That evening, a celebration began, not the festival of mourning, but of life. Villagers lit new lanterns, not for the dead, but for the living. Music played again. Children laughed. Sora brought Michael a fresh tunic, stitched with Vayari patterns. You're one of us now. He held it gently. I don't know what to say. Say yes, she whispered. Lyra pulled him to the fire pit and held his hand. Everyone else lost someone, she said. But I found something. What did you find? He asked. A dad, she said simply. Michael looked at Sora. She stepped closer, eyes soft. If you'll stay, she said, we'll make this work. Not out of pity, not out of sadness, but because we need you. Not as a visitor, not as a guest, as part of us. Michael's voice cracked. I've spent years walking alone. Never thought I'd be part of anything again. Sora smiled. Then let this be the start. They stood together beneath the stars, hand in hand, hearts healing. And as the last lantern rose into the sky, Lyra whispered, my mom smiles now, because of you.